It's always great to hear from some customers. And I just want to share with this group too, about a year ago and a week or two, SAP announced SAP BDC, Business Data Cloud. And we actually, it's kind of funny, in the agenda, we had some fake titles because we could not call them BDC, and then we switched them to BDC. So a year has rolled forward, and Amogh is going to join us. He'll introduce our panel. And I want to highlight as well, it's great to have some live customers on stage and some SAP friends on stage as well. And we don't just have, we have 5 tracks in the afternoon. There's going to be an entire track on BDC that's going to happen in the solutions room this afternoon. So this is real world, real stories. Amogh, I'll turn things over to you.
Thank you, Paul. And also thank you, Sebastian. We are really feeling inspired now with the data. And hopefully we can hear more from our customers here and also Balaji. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I heard there is about 2,000 plus live streamers here as well, wherever you are. Welcome and welcome to the room. So today we are going to listen from some of the leading enterprises here about their data transformation journeys, as well as how SAP is helping. We have Balaji here as well. And we have an exceptional panel here from life sciences to financial to professional services industry. And let's dive in. I would like to introduce briefly from Deloitte, we have Rohit Agarwal. He's the enterprise architect, and they are leading or transforming a data foundation together with MVPs on RISE. Then we have Scott Groth, ERP architect as well from Pfizer, and they are driving their BW modernization. And together with BDC, they are having a data foundation. And we have Rajesh Salaria, he's Director of Finance at AIG, and they are also driving a finance transformation. And also Balaji Gaddam, he's SVP and Head of Americas for Global Delivery Hub. So thank you everyone for joining. Maybe I'll start with a question, and you can go in from the customer sides first. That where do you think, what was the trigger point for you into BDC? What was the point you thought that my data architecture is not going to take me to the next horizon, kind of? Maybe in a sentence, whether it was AI scale, was it data fragmentation, was it modernization? Sure. If you can, yeah.
Sure, Amogh. The main trigger was our data is siloed across multiple platforms, which has caused duplication and slow reconciliation. In short, that's the reason. With BDC, we are bringing all that data together into one single source of truth, which will enable huge savings for us in terms of cost and time. Moreover, we are layering AI and Joule on top, so the agents can answer from the same enterprise data, governed enterprise data.
Scott?
Good to see you, Amogh, and thanks for the invite. I think it's going to be a similar theme. We have a lot of fragmentation in our data silos, and we believe the promise of BDC will allow us to harmonize that data across our entire enterprise and harmonize all the semantically rich data for us.
Thank you. Rajesh?
Thank you, Amogh, again, for having us over. I would say very similar story. Typical organization, you have your front office, middle office, back office. They work independently, and that's what creates the data silos. And as Sebastian mentioned, the data integrity is the key, and that is something we were looking from solution because, yes, a little late, but right on time from SAP standpoint, where our business or front office, middle office was actually going in and looking for the data lake architecture, trying to harmonize that reporting. And the delivery of BDC safeguards that, because not only we can build the data products in there, both from a custom standard, bring it together, bring the data tiering in BDC, and when we publish the report, we can publish that with integrity of the data that we are bringing in from the data fabric standpoint.
Thank you, Rajesh. So maybe from a panel side now, let me come to you, Balaji, right? You have been working with America's customers every day. So with the data architect role evolving, right? What do you see are the skills that are relevant? Why is it critical now?
No, thank you, Amogh, and again, welcome everyone. As Amogh said, I'm just 3 weeks into my new role. I'm currently leading the Global Delivery Hub for North America and Americas region. And if I look at one of the key challenge for me is to the same, what Amogh you asked, right? How do we bring the data architect and what changes are needed? So, I mean, I have a huge team, our experts for many, many years. And this is not and the biggest change for them would be definitely, it's not about, creating database designs. No, it's not about performance. It's not about making sure that you get the requirements from the business and start writing new reports, right? I think that's the biggest fundamental change. The data architect have to evolve from being the technical expert to being, create this AI-ready intelligence platform. So I think that's a very profound change for us, and I mean that has many layers. If you look, if you very fundamental layer is you look, data is not very structured these days, right? I mean we have this multimodal data coming from text and videos and AI. I mean that's where the data architect has to really start looking data much more holistically to go beyond from looking at the traditional RDBMS tables to really go and look at the data with many dimensions. And I think the other big change I see is that, when you look at the data, right, we are talking about a lot of this streaming data, high-speed data, which was also not very common in the past. Now with the availability of technology, I see I've been in the supply chain space, a lot of these IoT devices, they are streaming tons and tons of data. How do you as a data architect is ready to build that platform to consume that data, right? And I think the biggest change is, I think we all heard about in data we trust, but do we really trust? I think that's where the data architect role also evolves, to be that the guardian of that trust, right? I mean, we heard in the keynote today, I mean, you can have tons of data, but if it is not clean, if it is not trustworthy, you cannot really make best use of that data, right? So that's, I think, the foundational changes I see, many of our data architects in my team, they have to go beyond the technical expertise. In fact, even start working very closely with the business, understand the industry terms, and go and look at the data as data products, right? So that's where I think the big change and strength will come with the data architect teams.
Yeah. Thank you, Balaji. Yes, absolutely agree. It's a new role. SAP is established and fundamental to drive your transformations and help you drive the data AI strategies. So coming to you, Rajesh, you alluded towards your kind of business challenges and so on. You're going a significant architectural transformation as well, right? So could you maybe share what kind of forced that acceleration in your transformation and what were the kind of maybe top challenges that you are wanting to address through BDC?
Yeah, I mean, it's the easy answer, Amogh. AI is in our first name. If you look at AIG, AI.
I love that, Rajesh.
So that's an easy one. But no, fundamentally looking at, right, just like everyone else, and Sebastian put the number up, 99% of the enterprise, it's data, AI. That is a conversation in the C-suite today, right? So us as an architect, development teams within the IT, one of the key responsibilities, yes, how can we deliver? And how can we deliver with impact, right? Again, I don't want to be part of the 92% story. Yes, it's working, but it's working just about working, right? There's no real benefit. So we really working with SAP Max Attention and other teams, really went to the foundation, right? From a data standpoint, what's there today? What can I bring in my data fabric as we put that together? Because those are building blocks for me to deliver the AI capabilities in future, right? Because otherwise I'll be part of the 92% story. How can I be part of the 12%? And that is the shift in the mindset that we need to bring in with the data, share, and with the help of SAP team onboarded at AIG, we were able to showcase that, right? We don't have to go full-scale, large implementation and then having regrets later. We can do with a small data set, showcase what that means from a data product standpoint, bringing in Ariba, Fieldglass, Concur, our finance data, harmonizing that, and even for the data lakes, for front office or middle office, they have their own data lakes, right? how can I, regardless of the technology, and Snowflake, for example, a lot of investment has gone in over the years. So with zero data copy share, how can bring that data, right? The insurance, the front office or the middle office data, embed that into finance and produce the reporting capabilities that can really put me in that 12% category that Sebastian was mentioning, right? So.
Nice. Yes, thank you, Rajesh. And then coming to you, Scott, right, in Pfizer, what were the challenges from your BW 7.5 on-prem, and what pushed you towards adopting, BDC? Maybe if you can articulate on that side.
Sure. One obvious fact is that there's an end of mainstream maintenance for BW 7.5 at the end of 2027. So we wanted to get in front of that. Also wanted to take advantage of the BW for HANA capabilities, especially with the data tiering optimization capabilities within BW for HANA. We feel that there's a lot of value there with the 3 temperature layers with in-memory, NSE, and then the cold layer. And then finally, just a desire to modernize our entire data estate. And we felt like this move to BW for HANA inside BDC will give us that advantage.
Yeah, great. So all customers wanting to modernize, your BWs, yes, there is a trigger through the end of maintenance as well, but advantage of laying a foundation together with BDC. Yes, so thanks for sharing that. I think coming to you, Rohit, I think from Deloitte side, what were the trends that you were seeing, forcing you to, you mentioned in your intro as well, but what were some of those triggers that, got you started in Data4?
Sure. So, I mean, like I said, our data is siloed across platforms, so that was, causing duplication, lot of cost, and we are, lack of governance. So that was a trigger, and then we wanted to start early, and I think this story, the MVP approach, will resonate with many of the customers here who are already, planning or going through the RISE journey. In our case, we knew that the RISE migration would take time, but we didn't want to wait for the final cutover to start, realizing value or capturing value. Basically, especially around the data-driven transformations and agentic ways of working.
So you're using BDC data products in your RISE journey from the word go, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So what we did, and it's a good approach, and then thank you to SAP for that. We partnered with SAP and stood up a MVP copy of S4 on RISE, a copy of our on-prem S4. Think of it DR-like shadow environment where we continuously replicate key data domains from the on-prem version to RISE version. Now, with that foundation in place, we were able to activate Business Data Cloud as our unified data platform to support all the major transformation across finance and talent without forcing a disruptive all at once migration.
Yeah.
And we were able to access the standard data products within BDC that is available only with RISE. So that's a big benefit that we got before even getting on RISE. It's a jump start to capturing the value. And then again, we are layering Joule on top, as I mentioned earlier, building a portfolio of agentic AI use cases to streamline end-to-end processes. So it's just not a move to cloud for us. It's a step change in how the business operates.
Right. And could you articulate a little bit in general, RISE journeys take a longer time here. We got into a challenge that at least was going to be 1 year to get the first S4 system, right? And then with the innovative concept, which can be, great to share with all our enterprise architects, data architects here, how that time was reduced and what value you see as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, we started off like early, or I think late December, and we are going live in April with BDC. So we're almost there, and it's a faster time to value, realize, value from RISE with minimal business disruption.
Yeah.
And it also addresses a common reality, limited business time and attention, because I mean, we were able to still, deliver meaningful analytics and insights through BDC while the larger migration continues in parallel.
Yeah, that's great. And if we want to have more details, of course, we'll have, Rohit at the booth, and we are happy to share more. So we are first time piloting this together with Deloitte, and we see a lot more addressable market as well as benefits for all our customers.
I would like to thank you, SAP team, for this MVP approach, so we could, realize value early. And special shout out to Unnati and Prateek for partnering with us and making it happen.
Thank you, guys. Yeah. So coming to you, Scott, from Pfizer's side, right? What are the timelines? What are the migration approaches that you're taking? What can you share with them in terms of your transitions?
Sure. We've been working closely with the Max team, and we're partnering with IBM Consulting. The approach that we're taking for this rather large BW75 environment, which includes about a 17 terabyte scale-up system right now with about 16 terabytes in NLS.
Wow.
And this system's it's almost 3 decades old. So it's a pretty established, mature, I'll call it mature system. We've chosen to use the shell conversion process to get us to BW4. And also included in this process, we're going to RISE in BDC. So that's another challenge for this whole migration. And we're planning to go live in a window of about 18 months. So sometime next July is go live. It's a significant effort in the data migration. As you may or may not know, shell conversion is a process where you build a greenfield target, and then you actually move the data to the target environment using just standard BW tools. We're gonna really shrink our HANA GAL as we go to the cloud to save money in the cloud. So that's going to be a significant challenge for the migration process to get a lot of that data that's in memory today into NSE. So that's going to be a huge part of the migration. And then just really to harness all the capabilities after we get into RISE and harness those custom data products in BDC.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yes, absolutely. It's a major move, right? I think in this transformation. And how have you perceived the help from data architect?
Yeah, so we're partnering closely with Max Attention and with our SAP data architect, Bryce. And that's really helped us understand, where we're coming from and where we want to go, and helping us through all those decisions, critical decisions in the very beginning. So yeah, it's a journey.
Giving you some options of transition architectures, how you transform with options catered to your needs, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Coming to you, Rajesh, right, also from AIG side, in terms of these architectural decisions and so on, what do you see as impacts driven through the data architect who's also working with you, right? And how has that helped you build the foundation for BDC?
Yeah, no, I think it's very critical role, and thanks to SAP for, I think that was something very recently decision was made, and rightfully so. For rest of the folks, AIG moved to RISE last year. We have about 18 apps for finance that we moved over, I think 8 months from planning all the way to execution. That was more of a building block from a technology standpoint, and now we are on our last S4 program for General Ledger, which is basically 86 countries, 95% global data flows in that ledger, and that is we are going through S4 upgrade on 2025. If we only knew how to make things worse, we also decommissioning business process and consolidations, doing a group reporting on top of that. And if that wasn't complex, we're also rolling out a BDC as a target solution for group reporting and finance with the S4 go live, right? So you can understand with that large complexity, and Ian mentioned this morning, right, from architect standpoint, you can't make these decisions in silos anymore because some of the things that these architects sees are 18 months ahead of what my team or my SI sees, right? So from that standpoint, Amogh, it's very good because I have current state, I have interim state and I have future state, right? So how we define that is not something I can bring in a SI or my teams can do that, right? You need somebody who's embedded in the DNA of the product to understand, provide that different segregation at what point, and I think that's what Pratusha did for us, and I see her up there. So thank you, and I was able to view, right? Because as a person who's responsible for that delivery, you need to understand and be comfortable with where I am today, what is going to be my interim state, and from the future state standpoint. And in order to comprehend and relay that decision to your leadership and make them comfortable, because it's a huge investment, right? From a just software spend to the implementation cost, it's a lot of spend, and given all those things moving at the same point, there's a lot of risk involved, right? So how you de-risk that program, and that is something I think, I say that often when I come here to Newtown Square, is SAP Max Attention saves me from myself, because there are decisions that I would make knowing my peripheral versus somebody coming from outside with the expert and providing that insight to keep me on the track. So that's what I will say, Amogh.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you to Bryce as well as Pratusha. Thank you guys for helping our customers.
Aren't you in risk management?
Sometimes it seems like it, right?
Yeah. And Balaji, now that your teams are working, building these capabilities of data architecture and so on, what are some of the things you have seen, heard, or of people underestimating data, or what are the common beliefs that we need to challenge now that we have seen data, AI, and the hype, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, so I mean, I can go on and on that because, I mean, of course, 6 months ago when we, looked at the analysts and everybody said SaaS will be the foundation for AI. Yeah. And then now I get the headlines and SaaS is dead. So where is the reality, right? So I think that's where, I mean, I see, like, when you look at, some of the customers I see here, I mean, all my esteemed panelists here, and when you look at data and AI, right, I mean, it's not just about creating some POCs. How do we, build very robust systems? I've been in this industry, if you look back, when the databases were invented, right? So all the applications were very successful because database provided that consistency, right? And stability of the data. And there was no scope for hallucination on an RDBMS data, because with that, the systems would have collapsed, right? But now, that's what my thing is, when you look at the SaaS solutions, yes, they will be the foundation for all future AI-ready agentic AI world. And what we have to make sure that, we bring that compliance and the risk and all the GDPR topics, right? Data security and privacy. So these are all the elements, these are all the guardrails, I say, which will be needed to make sure that, the promises of agentic AI are really showing the results, right? And that's where, companies like SAP and SaaS, they're not dead. They will continue to thrive and be the foundation for many of the mission-critical applications where the customers use. And that's what, we are also investing heavily in building those skills. When you look at the data, right, at least from my mind, it's always, what is data product? It's about you build once, you reuse everywhere, and you govern always, and you scale infinitely, right? So in a very foundational sense, these are the 4 key attributes that we need to make sure for companies like, all the large companies, they will be confident and leveraging all the promises of AI. So that's where I think we have heavily invested both in the core product and also in our services to make sure that the systems are much, much more reliable and, of course, meeting all the compliance requirements.
Yeah, thank you, Balaji. And then we have the architect community here, right? So these roles should be collaborating together, right? Enterprise architect, data architect, AI experts, and all. Along the tooling, also, what do you feel in terms of the collaboration there?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there's no second thought on that. I mean, we need to have that integrated tool chain approach because, I mean, of course, you mentioned, there was silos of data and there are many different systems. If a company is operating in many countries, a lot of this local processes have developed. But how do we as an enterprise get the good overview of the technical landscape and the process, right? I think that's where the integrated tool chain is very, very important. And that's why, we brought like Signavio and LeanIX and CloudAM all together. And then, of course, we have WalkMe also joining this. So this provides an enterprise view, a single source of truth for anybody in the enterprise, right? I think that is very, very important. And that's where I think the interoperability between a data architect and an enterprise architect gets much, much more seamless, because all of them are operating not on Excel, but a single source of truth, which is what our integrated toolchain brings. And that's also in our, if you're going through the RISE journey, we're also bringing this as a standard entitlement that every RISE customer gets access to this integrated tool chain. And I think we are provided. I think now what we are doing from my team is to make sure you all leverage that. I know it's free for you. It's not an additional cost. So please make sure that if you are going through a big transformation, integrated tool chain is an embedded part of your program. And we from services are here to support and help you to activate, to educate, and empower you, because the value that brings is immense.
Yeah, no, that's a great message for the community here as well, right? That again, all these roles will collaborate and have one common purpose towards driving the business impact, right? So whatever is done by one role can be handed over to the other, and then also join that to show the impact that you are driving, right? Be it data, be it application architecture, business architecture, or even AI optimizing and efficiencies for the agentic into the business process as well, right? So integrated tool chain, guys, it's there. LeanIX, you will see in some sessions as well how we are trying out some of those things. So please do join those sessions. And thank you, Balaji. That's really, really great. Rajesh, coming to you in terms of some kind of early indications in results or metrics with this kind of data-driven, data AI transformation, anything you could share with our audience here?
So I think as I mentioned earlier, Amogh, we're still building those foundations for the true AI use case, because as the 92% says again, there's a lot of people confuse automation with AI. Like, you want to do a true AI use case, it has to be fundamentally, you have to look at the process and see can it sustain for the next 15 years, right? And I think that's where, Amogh, I draw the line. Yeah. We have done some part where one of the use cases we recently deployed in our underwriting in insurance, where it used to take for commercial underwriting some of the larger project. Think of it as a Eagle Stadium, and if you have to insure that, what it would take to insure that, right? So in the past, we flew drones around and this and that, right? So AI really can look at the video, gauge it, create the underwriting. Actuaries can look at that. So it used to take us about 2 weeks just to pass the quote back on, right? Mm-hmm. With AI now, we're able to do that in 24 hours, right? So that is something significant, right? So it's very typical finance, right? Finance is the space. I mean, insurance is the space, hasn't changed it from hundreds of years. It's still the same claims and policies and underwriting, everything else. But from a finance standpoint, I think that is what's next. And I just got off the call this morning as well with my leadership, and it's a big push, right? So as I mentioned, all those programs, the question that was asked to me, Rajesh, can we front load AI in S4, right? So you don't even want to wait for the general ledger to go live. They want to front load that with certain opportunities, and that's something SAP has taken up as a challenge. And we have meeting with the extended team to ensure how can we bring that into the program itself to drive some of the fundamental change. Again, no automation, right? No moving, as Ian said this morning, we typically, people see that AI delivery is moving the cost from sector 1 to sector 2, right? Finance might see efficiency, but now you have put that operational cost on the IT. Is that really a transformation, right? So we're looking that through full lens, right? Bigger, broader lens from an return of investment as well as the capabilities, and how does that add on value to business? So a lot of work in very initial stages.
And can you talk a little also about the foundation then with BDC, and also then the Snowflake kind of BDC Connect?
Yep. So in the beginning of the call, I was mentioning, right? So we were really waiting for this product, BDC, when leadership made the decision to go Snowflake way, and that became our central, we call it a common insurance language, CIL, space for common insurance language. And we wanted to do that for finance as well, have a common finance language, because the front-end systems are very disrupted, right? Everybody's using, in different geographies, different system. And as we bring that data together, we wanted a common financial language. And given that we have very heavily for the last 3, 4, 5 years, we have invested on Snowflake, and that is our global reporting system. And how can we, with the BDC in the picture, how can we bring the two pieces together? Because even for finance reporting, and specifically insurance side, there are certain code blocks you need to fulfill that reporting gap, right? So with the BDC Connect, for example, that was something SAP released last year, which we are in early adopters, or the POC that we have signed up for. We are trying to bring zero data copy share, right? So for the investment that we have made, it's not a waste of investment. I think there's tools and capabilities within the BDC to read that data, produce that reporting, and we are in process of testing that particular test case. But for rest of the finance world, Ariba, Fieldglass, Concur, S4 are sub-ledgers that are on S4. So all that data, we have done a small POC. We were able to replicate that data in the BDC from a data product standpoint. So a lot of work there.
Thank you, Rajesh. It's significant, right, how SAP opened up this ecosystem mindset, and you're able to leverage into your existing investments through this BDC Connect. And that leads us into also, Scott, your side of the goal, as we heard from Pfizer, was to combine SAP, non-SAP data. How do you see BDC playing a key role in that kind of a transformation as well?
Sure. So I mentioned earlier we have a lot of data silos at Pfizer. Primarily, in the ERP space, we have BW, as I mentioned. It's a significant, rich data set that we've been using effectively. And then there's another recent development that we've put in place. We have a homegrown sidecar environment where we use HANA, and we use for AIML, a data IQ instance with some UI5 and Analytics Cloud front ends. That's yet another instantiation of analytics and AI. And then we have, as Rajesh pointed out, we have a very, very large Snowflake data lake environment at Pfizer, where a lot of non-SAP intelligent applications have been deployed, where they need SAP data. So there's a lot of drain on our SAP systems just to feed that whole Snowflake data lake. And then in addition to that, we also have a data intelligence platform that we use for other data integrations, more for external applications and SaaS applications. So each one of those in itself is a discipline, and a lot of energy and a lot of time is put into those platforms. Turn the page to BDC. We believe that this is going to provide a rich semantic layer for all SAP data assets, to harmonize all this data set so that there's really a one-stop shop for data. And we've been modeling over the years and building all these ETLs and these databases everywhere, and we haven't really labeled them as data products, but that's kind of like what we were doing, right? SAP formalized it, well, the industry formalized the nomenclatures is it's a data product. Well, I believe that the promise, I'll call it the promise of BDC and this data product concept will really give us kind of like what we've been talking about in the ERP space with BTP and Clean Core. It's kind of like Clean Core for data.
I
right?
love that. Very nice.
So
yeah.
it's so this data product concept, and then there's only one way to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty that I see in the promise of these data products is that, and especially when you get to the intelligent applications where the data products are literally signed by SAP. Right. So that's going to give a lot of governance and a lot of semantically rich capabilities going forward for both reliable analytics and reliable business AI. So that's really the promise that we're looking for, and then also too, getting all this data in one place, we can eliminate a lot of those ETLs outside of. I fight tooth and nail to keep our data. If you're going to access our data, it's through the ABAP stack, right?
Yeah.
So we can control that now, and then with this promise of BDC Connect with Snowflake, we can eliminate a lot of overhead with ETL. We'll just tell, hey, you need it, it's over here, BDC Connect, and it's proven. So that's the vision. So.
Thank you, Scott, and also for endorsing that there is value from the vision of BDC as well, moving away from those kind of pipeline orchestration, mundane tasks to more outcome driven. I think thanks for sharing.
You're going to come through, right?
Of course, and give you peace of mind, right? That's the thing where Balaji's teams are gonna also help you actually execute and see that the rubber is meeting the road, right?
And even from a control standpoint, right, there is a big benefit there. So typically, I'm pretty sure majority of the finance people can back me up. The SOX, every time you physically move the data, it's a recon.
Yeah.
Then you have an operational headcount who's doing those recons or recs manually. And every time you change a code block, the whole process has to be revetted, revalidated. Then you got to walk your technology risk compliance, your IAG, your SOX, all that goes away.
And we got to do GMP too.
Yes. So I think that's where, to me, yes, it's a big benefit, the zero delta copy share, and we're looking forward to seeing it materialize, that investment.
Yeah. Rohit, you guys also use BDC Connect, right? You have which data mesh or what medallion architecture?
So we have Databricks.
Databricks, okay,
Yes,
yeah.
Deloitte runs on SAP, but we do have critical non-ERP data in Databricks. And with this vision, our vision is to bring all of that together into BDC as a single source of truth.
Nice. So leading now that we have established BDC as a foundation, helping you all get return of the invest from your current investments, bringing in the context now becomes important for your AI journeys, right? So Deloitte has been working also with SAP, very deeply invested into AI. So Jewel, your AI, can you share a few thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, love to do that. So as I mentioned earlier, we are building a portfolio of agentic AI use cases. But we started with one flagship finance capability, profit and loss advisor agent. And and the reason we started there is because I think we all know in finance environments, the P&L insight is always slowed down due to multiple handoffs across data sources, inconsistent definitions, reconciliation effort, and latency. So something like variance analysis becomes far more manual than it should be. Our approach with BDC is that we are reusing the standard finance data products within BDC, and with consistent definitions and lineage, and then Joule Studio to build custom agent on top of that governed foundation. So this P&L advisor agent can spot variances, explain the drivers behind, generate a narrative, and highlight anomalies. Now finance users can just simply prompt in natural language, rather than instead pulling data from multiple sources and stitching story together manually. Moreover, they can move from insight to action faster. So and we are taking the same blueprint across our other finance scenarios and roadmap.
Oh, that's great. And Balaji, coming to you, right? Hearing from our customers, you mentioned also very nicely that, yeah, there is disruption in enterprise SaaS. And how do you see SAP, navigating through this kind of AI disruption? And what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, again, as I mentioned, we from SAP, it's the trifecta of the solutions, right? Our for the last 50 years, we have our very stable application layer. I mean, like if you look at, we cover more than 26 industries, and many of our customers have already started move to the S4 journey. And with our line of business solution, I think we provide a very comprehensive process platform, right? I think which has been proven and used by many, many large customers. And now comes, like the AI vision. I mean, we already started the AI journey many years ago, our agentic AI framework, and in BTP, our Gen AI hub. So we provided all these tools and technologies to help not just bring native AI capabilities in our solutions, but also extend and build, right? But what was missing was the data layer. I think with BDC, I think that glue has now really strengthened the promise of an integrated business suite, right? So we have the process layer, we have the data layer, and also with AI, I think this brings like this a perpetual what we call the trifecta of these solutions, so that the process generate data and the BDC provides the data governance, and then AI learns, and then this continues the loop. So that's where I think I see our vision with the business suite, and all the key components are there now. And from services, I think that's where my role comes to help like AIG and Deloitte and all the customers here to make sure that we bring that promise and help you adopt those solutions faster, quicker, and at scale. And of course, we're also investing heavily in our service portfolio. We will see the success plans will be launched in a few weeks, and that provides you access to much, much more capabilities, entitlements at a much lower price. So yeah, stay tuned. March 3rd, there's an event which will be about Success Plan Unleashed event, and we will share that link to you. And if you have not done yet, please register, and there you will learn how our portfolio is evolving.
Thank you, Balaji. That's really great. And like you said, yes, I think from services side, it will be great to see how you're able to guide the customers and living the flywheel and applying it for your business outcomes and impact, right? So accelerating your adoption, I think, and applying to that. Thanks. That's really great.
And Amogh, if I may interrupt, maybe one question to the audience. How many of you are on RISE or started the RISE journey? And how many of you know that you have free entitlement, something called Transformation Planning Service or Transformation Preparation Service?
Not many here, okay.
So, I mean, that's what I wanted to tell that, as part of our offering with every RISE, you get a free entitlement where you can request a TPS service. And this is where, we bring everything together. Like, how do we create like a structured transformation map for you? How do we bring the value of integrated tool chain for you? What are the AI scenarios? We even help you without any commercial discussions to help you activate an AI. So please leverage the TPS, what we call, which is an entitlement embedded in your RISE journey. And then, that is always every customer in the foundational layer, they get that. And now, as you said, we are bringing the next layer, which is called the advanced layer. And there are more than 800 entitlements which you will get. You have access to drive your adoption journey, drive your AI journey, for example. And then, of course, many of you familiar with Max Attention. So that is now becoming like what we call the Max Success Plan. And that's where we will support. And I know thanks, Amogh, for putting me on spot with Scott here. And you committed on my behalf. Thank you very much. We are on tape already. But no, it is my promise and commitment to all of you and all the customers with my team, with the Delivery Hub and with the service portfolio. We want to be part of your journey. We want to make sure that you accelerate your journey and make sure that you're maximizing the value of all the investments you're making with SAP. Thank you.
And thanks for reminding Balaji, right? Also from BDC, we have a BDC readiness assessment for everyone, each of your from customer side as interested, or discovery workshops. Of course, data architects will deliver those as well, but please do take advantage of those services. And Rajesh had a comment here.
No, I was just going to second to what Balaji said, right? For RISE journey, and at that time it was not free, and I'm not going to ask for a refund.
Yeah.
But I think I'm a big believer in plan your work and work your plan. So we spend almost, I think, close to 6 months on just planning, vetting out to the add-ons basically that were moving to RISE, and that paid dividends, right? When we moved 18 applications in 8 months. And out of which 2 we migrated to RISE and upgraded to S4 at the same time. That was only made possible because the investment we made before we got onto the journey. So absolutely, I think that was very crucial in AIG's success to move to RISE.
Yeah, that's great, Rajesh. I was just going to come back in terms of one piece of advice you all wanted to give. So you started that. Now maybe let's go through Rohit, Scott, and then Balaji as well.
Yeah, one piece of advice is BDC is the way to go for data foundation. I mean, you all know we have been talking about that, especially because now with AI using Joule Studio or other AI products, you need the data, right? One trusted data, enterprise data source. And that's what the BDC will become. So I can further, give more details on the MVP copy so that we could, how we could get the value early on. And I'll be at the booth with Amogh and share more details. But yeah, that's one message I can give.
Thank you. Scott?
Thanks again. Just a word of advice, plan. It's really reach out to your Max team and get them early on in your planning process. I can't emphasize that enough. And also, as you're going to the cloud, I think costs are critical. Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into, because they can explode pretty quickly. So understand where you're coming from and what you need in the target.
I think from a product standpoint, as I mentioned earlier, long-awaited, right? So there was always an ask from our finance, business, leadership, C-suite, right? They want to look at the big picture from a finance data. To me, that is the one answer, right? Now I can, as Ariba, Fieldglass, Concur, get on board, SuccessFactors gets on board with the data products, we will be able to bring that as a data products, create that data fabric for finance and report it. So to me, all the right responses so far. It's the materiality of it and how does the product evolves over time. That's yet to be seen. But I think, as you said, the trifecta, I think it's in works.
Thank you. Balaji?
Yeah, no. First of all, I want to thank Rajesh, Rohit, and Scott for your trust and partnership. It is always good to hear from you directly, and you can count on me and of course all of you. If you are starting your journey with SAP, we are here to support you, and please leverage our services. Max Attention, of course, is the highest level of engagement. But as I said, our success plans gives you access to the same talent at with a new model which comes out, right? So yeah, I'm here to support you. You can count on me. Advice, I think you all heard from the esteemed guests here. I don't have much to add more than an advice. I think, Amogh, if I may, with due permission, I can make an ask for all of you. As I said, I'm currently leading the Global Delivery Hub for Americas. One of the biggest investment area is data and AI. I'm hiring for 20 data architects and AI architects, if any of you are ever interested. So I don't know if it's an advice or an ask, but you can take it the other way. With due respect, Paul, yes, with your permission, I want to take this. So yeah, please, please leverage this. And again, you can trust on me, and we can count the partnership. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
So you gentlemen have to be part of the flag photo. That's mandatory.
Of course.
Okay, so if you want to line up here for a second, I'll get the flag. So Balaji mentioned about looking for data architects, right? This community helps everyone evolve, right? Customers, partners, and SAP, right? And wherever they are in their journey. So we're all keen, data architects, other architects, this is why we're here. So you folks know the drill. We'll do the photo, and then I'll just say a few words about how you folks eat. That's important. We'll get it the right way. I'll go more this way more.
Yeah.
Paul's always got to hold it.
Oh, you can hold it, Scott.
Already?
It's got to be level.
Flag or me? Or... All right.
Just one?
No.
Okay, then she
I hope you're just as good a photographer as you are a data guy. So let me explain how lunch is going to work. You grab food, you eat. No. So first of all, session's going to start again at 1:50. We have 5 tracks going here, solutions room, in training room 7-8, demo room A as well as demo room B. So we have different lunch areas. So third floor is executive dining room. So customers, if you go up to the third floor as a starter, right? Then the next cascade is down the second floor, and then others inside the cafe. We have enough numbers, and we're going to try to spread people who are up in the executive dining room. Food's pretty good in all places. Executive dining room today, we'll get the executive dining room experience tomorrow. So please leave in an orderly fashion. Enjoy your lunch, and people in the live stream, enjoy your lunch, supper, wherever you are. Thank you, and see you folks later. Pause. No, we're going to do this. No, we're going to do this. I forgot something. Unbelievable, but I forgot something. So we talked about developing people, right? I mentioned that, right? So very pleased to have joined us, Penn State. We're doing this, ladies.
All right,
grab a mic. We're doing this.
All right.
So we're fortunate to have people. We have architects in the room that have gone through the Penn State program, architects that are going through the Penn State program, and they took the time to come here today to talk about their programming in the mix as well. So I want to give them a bit of airtime, and thank you for stopping, and thank you for reminding me.
This will be quick.
Hello, is my mic on? Okay, so I'm Chandra Knable. I work for SAP as an enterprise architect. I did the Masters of Enterprise Architecture at Penn State in 2021. I was here as a customer in 2020, and I'm very excited to introduce my professor from my security architecture class, Dr. Glantz from Penn State.
Hey, we're going to go fast. We have a booth out in the hallway, and we're going to talk to y'all. Can I just see hands, Penn State alumni? Is there anybody in the room from Penn State? Just a few of you? Okay. We'd like to see more of you. Enterprise architecture education is more important today than it's ever been. My journey started with MRP2, that production inventory control. I go back a ways. We started our EA master's degree at Penn State about 11 years ago, and it's an online degree, so you can take it from anywhere. And we have a distinguished alumni here, and we have a current student, and we just wanted to let you hear from Asha about—
You get grade points for bringing him here?
I like that.
And Asha will tell you how she made her decision to go into the program. She's only in the second semester, but she's had some pretty spectacular experiences. It's a framework agnostic curriculum with subject matter experts. Our industry partnerships are spectacular. Asha.
Hi, everybody. Ashka Shah. I'm also with SAP as an enterprise architect. I started at Penn State doing the Master's in Enterprise Architecture and Business Transformation degree. And I personally feel like, that I'm learning a lot through this program. Being an enterprise architect at SAP, I'm understanding the SAP lens, the SAP framework, the methodology. Doing this program is kind of helping me elevate my overall knowledge and experience to go above and beyond, learn about the overall architecture practice outside of what we do as SAP aligned with TOGAF, additionally outside of that as well as being able to invest in myself, right? I mean, SAP has given me this opportunity where I can invest in myself to be able to upskill myself, and at the same time, I feel I'm able to take that knowledge along with what I've learned at SAP to my customers to better support my customers. So I feel it to be very rewarding.
So everyone comes in, they're usually advanced senior employees. They all come in with a subject matter expertise, and then we develop a full 360 around that. Can we just do one more thing? Can I do the selfie?
Oh, yeah, you can. It's a thing. Come on. We got to do one.
I can hold I can do it, I think.
Flag. You do?
I'll do it.
No.
We're going to do an official one?
Yeah, he thinks he's a data guy, but he's really a photographer.
Thank you for your patience, and please stop by. I want to chat later.
Okay.
Right, everybody smile. 1, 2, 3, and 5 pictures. 6.
That's a lot of data for you.
Thank you. You can go eat now.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I think it was okay. I know
To me, it was just basically, we're out in the hallway, come over.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So we should think about.
I'm going to send this picture.
bit of a campaign. So what I did with, oh, can you?
They're playing the video over the broadcast, just not here.
Awesome, awesome.
Okay. Yeah,
Can
that sounds
you turn me off?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
So what we did with Ranjit is I actually helped Ranjit recruit Rise Architects, right?
Yeah.
Can they turn? Excuse me.
Enterprise architecture is an evolving discipline that enables the enterprise-wide analysis, design, planning, and implementation of enterprise-wide systems and processes that are aligned with business strategy.
It is a complete look at your organization from your business strategy, your goals, what your vision is for that organization, and how you get there. It's people, it's processes, it's strategy, it's systems. It's kind of an all-encompassing look at your enterprise.
It's something that organizations all around the globe are rapidly implementing and investigating today. I frame it as really, in many ways, a CIO preparatory program, the closest thing to a CIO preparatory program that I've seen out there.
The nice thing about enterprise architecture is that it's affecting all fields, so medical informatics, environmental monitoring, logistics, consulting, all of those different fields have aspects of enterprise architecture.
It's not looking at just science or medicine. You can apply this to business, you can apply it to really any field, because you're dealing with organizations, and all organizations want to evolve.
We believe that enterprise architecture as a master's degree is the first degree of its kind anywhere in the world.
Penn State is a really good school, and I will tell you that I am kind of a snob when I'm looking at schools. I didn't want to just go to any program because it was a degree. For me, it's not just about checking the block. I wanted a good school where I knew I was going to learn.
One of the problems, quite frankly, in enterprise architecture is that organizations, universities, training organizations, etc., can put the term on just about anything they want, and there's no group out there to say whether that's good, bad, or someplace in the middle. What we did, recognizing that there's no model curricula or common agreement, we pulled together a very large cross-section of corporations, government entities, nonprofit organizations to advise us and talk with us about what their needs are and what should be in enterprise architecture undergraduate and graduate programs. So this is easily the most well-vetted program anywhere in the world.
Penn State believes the philosophy that a credit is a credit is a credit. And thus, when you graduate with the Master's in Enterprise Architecture, it says Penn State on your diploma, just as if you'd been here on campus for 2 years taking the program.
Enterprise architecture-related professionals are very busy, they travel a lot, so they need a flexible program that's structured around the working professional.
As a professional, many people can't just stop and go back to class. They have to manage a job, manage a family, and this gave you the flexibility of doing this and managing your time in order to complete those assignments.
You really have a real-world online experience here. You're not just handed a book and a study guide and said, go do the work, we'll see you in 6 weeks or 8 weeks. You have a real community that's there to support you. This is not a piece of cake degree. We want students who are going to be serious about this, who are serious about learning about enterprise architecture and really on the cutting edge. It's really set up to roll out on a traditional semester basis, fall, spring, summer. Most of the classwork is done in an asynchronous environment. There are times that within this program specifically, you do need to get together. There are opportunities to interact with the faculty. There are opportunities to interact with practitioners in a synchronous environment.
This is a great question. And these are done around times that work for most of the students in the class. Typically, we've been doing evening sessions. The sessions are recorded, so if people can't make the live sessions, they can play them back later. We try to have a very flexible infrastructure and flexible program that allows for the busy schedule of our students.
I have learned so much, just the way the different classes are structured. Some of them you meet every week, you meet virtually every week. Some of them you do your own coursework and have to submit work every week. But they are definitely, they make you do the work and they make you learn.
My best recommendation is do the assignments, do the tasks, go through the classes, and apply it to something that you're doing in your current job and that you like. If you like it, then it'll go a lot faster. You'll get more out of it too.
I'm not going to say it's easy. There's a lot of schoolwork that I end up doing on weekends. With an online program, it's easy if I want to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and do an assignment or do some reading. You can kind of tailor it to whatever works for the individual.
I feel like it'll give me a little bit more credentials when I'm talking to people about architecture. I feel like I'm a subject matter expert.
My goal is to grow the business where I'm at right now, to win more enterprise architecture work. Right now I'm in the Department of Defense space. I would like to move out of that into the civilian sector and do enterprise architecture in that realm.
It's very rewarding to see the enthusiasm that we continue to get with the program and the difference that we're hearing that this program has made in the professional lives of our students already. I get feedback from many students about how they've been able to apply the material and the tools that are covered in the course directly in their jobs and how it's making a difference in their organizations. In fact, I've had a few students that have taken the materials presented in the classes and have used the materials to build a business case to have a formal enterprise architecture unit approved and funded in their organizations. So that's very rewarding.